Hi, my name is Mikey. I used to be a children's nurse. I have some experience with the early stages of counselling training, and I have a lot of experience of working with dementia. So in this video, I'm just going to briefly explain something quite game-changing for me with dealing with dementia, because it's not an easy thing, especially if we're talking about a relative or a close friend, loved one, or even a patient, long-term patient. The first thing I realized with working with dementia was it infuriated me. It absolutely infuriated me, and I really struggled. A few years ago now, for the first time, this client, I felt like I needed to leave after a while, because I used to come back from our sessions. I used to be absolutely drained and exhausted, and it was a real struggle. Some time went on, and I stuck with this client for whatever reason. Something told me to just keep going with him. Big thing I realized, which changed a lot of things for me, was this present moment invitation. So this is the second point that I want to just bring very quickly today. The present moment invitation. Someone who's suffering with dementia, they obviously, as you may know, it will be different for everyone, of course, but they are so in the present, so in the moment, that there are no ideas of 5 minutes time or 10 minutes ago for a lot of people, depending on the level of severity. The question that came to me one day, my client in particular, he used to always ask me where his wife was. Where's my wife? Where is she? Where is she? Will she be at home? Is she going to meet us? And then this thought just came to me when he asked it one day. The thought that came to me was, what's more important to me? What's more important to me? Is it regulation, or is it being right? And that sentence stuck with me for the rest of the time I've been with this client. And I would just find myself answering, yeah, she's at home, again and again and again. But each time I would do that, I wouldn't be clenching myself, I wouldn't be contracting myself, and he would pick up on that, and he relaxed. And that actually brought us into the only place you can connect. There's an old idea that connection happens through conversation and through words. I disagree. I believe it happens in the spaces in between the words. I believe it happens in the silence, in that meeting place of being, of presence. In the counseling world, they talk about this as relational depth. It's something that can't be brought about. You can't try to get relational depth. You don't even know what it is. It's a mysterious quiet where this connecting and understanding just happens between the two of you. We would fall into this space of relational depth, which is pure presence and pure being, which is why a lot of the time talking isn't actually the best thing for connection. And I started to realize more and more as time went on, I'm like, shit, I tell you what, this thing I used to see as so difficult and so draining and so exhausting is actually again and again and again an invitation to really, really connect and meet with someone, but on a level where words aren't needed. But why is it once our friend, our relative has dementia progressing, it feels like they're no longer there? Well, I wanted to bring your attention to a book called Whole Brain Living. And there's a part of the brain with a little bit of tissue. I think it's the left hemisphere. Basically, this one in particular, this bit of tissue is our personality, it's our persona, it's everything we think of as me. So Mikey, I like curry, I like beer, I like making videos, I work with people with dementia, I like going swimming in the sea, I dislike busy places, for example. All these things that you would consider like a persona, personality. This is in the left lobe of the brain. There's two, I won't go into it too much because I don't want to overload you with facts, but there's two lobes on the left side, and this is the second one. And when you have dementia, that part of the brain is completely annihilated. There's not access to it like it was for like you and I, for example. We consider ourselves to be these clump of tissues in the left side of our brain. And the other thing that Dr. Jill Bolte-Taylor talked about was the other parts to the brain as she explained it. And one of them is the fourth character. So you call them the characters of the brain. Now this is the second character we just talked about, our persona. Our fourth character is when we are just completely present and at one, and there's no separation between us and objects and us and people, much like when we're babies. So we are completely in our character 4 when we are present, We are, I mean, really present. Like, there is just presence. This is this part of the brain that is responsible for recognizing just presence and oneness. Another way that Jill Bolte Taylor describes it is it's like the God part of the brain, so to speak. I spent a lot of time with people with dementia, patients, friends, and they are fully in their level 4s, fully, and I can probably see how that's the case, because there is such nowness, and so little of the level 2, for example, so little of the my name's Jason and I'm, you know, I need to eat because I'm hungry. There's just level 4, which is now, and I would really highly recommend you pick up this book. It gives you some great exercises on how to connect with the sort of the right side of the brain, so to speak. And this kind of leads on to my final point, which is really self-care is the most important thing as a caregiver for someone with dementia. You can't give from an empty cup. This isn't something new. Patients, people, friends, relatives with dementia they are gurus. There is nothing wrong, really. There's nothing wrong, in the sense of they shouldn't be like this. They shouldn't be doing this. What I've realized is every single time I'm asked a question and then it's repeated and then it's repeated and then repeated within a 5-10 second period, what I was realizing is I was having a lot of reactions coming up, a lot of feelings, a lot of thoughts. I shouldn't be doing this. This isn't how this person used to be. Whatever it might be. And part of my self-care was actually when I came away the first few times, was to really sit with what these triggers were. So whatever it might have been, say, we'll go to the strong one, because I know that not being recognized is a really difficult thing. If you've got a family member particularly, and they're older, and you've spent a lot of years knowing this person, you've built up a connection, all of a sudden they don't recognize you. That's going to create there's going to be a lot happening in your body when that happens, right? But the oftentimes issue that we have is the brain is very quickly going, that's so annoying, or this is wrong, this hurts, they're wrong. What we're not doing, and this is where the exhaustion comes in, what we're not doing is we're not being present ourselves, and we're not noticing the feelings that brings up in us. So someone has not recognized me, my dad, for example, say it's my mum or my dad, my parent, they haven't recognized me. That's bringing up, there's a reaction happening in the body. Now, to avoid feeling that feeling, the mind is going to start bringing up stories of this is wrong, this is bad, I can't do this, this is too difficult, there's too much suffering involved, whatever it might be. But what we're not doing is just allowing these sensations. First and foremost, I'm not saying this is going to completely cure and make it very easy to work with dementia, but it will change your life, and it will change the life of the person you're with. Learning to witness these parts, these sensations, without judging them, or if there are judgments, which there will be, because if sadness comes up, we feel vulnerable. We have our judgments, so I'll have our conditioning around that. Mum never liked crying, my dad never allowed vulnerability in the family, whatever it might be. To allow all of that to come up, allow all of that to be seen. Now, you can't just pretend, you can't just kind of push it away and kind of think, just say what they need to hear. That's half the job. Not wrong at all, of course it's not, but we're missing number one. We're missing number one. So what good is helping number two if we're missing number one? It's like they say in Buddhism, if your compassion doesn't include yourself, it's incomplete. This is a huge opportunity for you. This is a massive chance, and it's not easy. It never will be easy. I think you start to realize when you see just this very short video that I've done, if you start to take on at least maybe even just a tiny bit of it, you start to realize that the people we're looking after with dementia are not the problem. They're not the issue. They're our gurus. Hilarious, really, thinking that we're talking is how we connect with people. Well, does that mean that people with dementia, they can't experience love and connection in some way? I don't believe that. I don't get that. Mainly because I've seen it and I've experienced it myself firsthand. My direct experience tells me different. But you will be confronted with, if you take this on, you will be confronted with your own judgments and your own resistances, and you will basically be confronted with, again and again, the question, what's more important to you? Peace, connection, love, regulation, or being right? Whether it's in your mind's eye wrong or right what's being said, if an answer, even if it's repeated, can lead to even a tiny bit of regulation, which in 5 seconds is going to come again. Well, then in 5 seconds, you're going to be invited again to be in the present moment. And then 3 seconds after that, they may ask. And then again, you're going to be invited into the present moment. And all your judgments about the fact you just answered it, you just said it, why don't they do that, they're all going to come up. So to wrap it up, I hope it's been a little bit helpful. This is just one short video of a few that I might start to do with a bit more practical information, hopefully in the next few. And don't hesitate to reach out if you feel like you need some support. There are lots of, support forums and groups out there, which I recommend. But I think the one thing that I would want to get across to anyone from this video, if I could just choose one message, would be just don't miss the opportunity. Don't miss the opportunity that this can afford you, because not only can real connection be experienced still with your loved one, but you can grow in love yourself when you realize that you're able to let go of your identities in the name of just connection and love. Yeah, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.